let's talk about this transition, because this is truly where mass timber comes into play. Your project returned to form. You know, you ended up embracing it head on, but not as a hotel. It ended up becoming it took a different form. Pun intended, I guess, as I say it out loud. But what is that form that you're working on now?
Yeah, so we were really excited about a hotel because we felt like, I was very lucky at Westfield to have worked on projects that, Mission Ballroom was, at least in my opinion, it felt like something that added to the neighborhood. It felt like something that, brought new energy and had a culture around it and made Rhino a more fun place than it even already was. And so that's kind of how we viewed a hotel on our site at that time was how can we do something that makes this neighborhood, even better than it already is. And um, it was very disappointing when we couldn't go that route anymore. But we were trying to figure out, okay, what can we do here? And multifamily was not only something that we could do per the zoning, but also something that, we felt like it was a desirable location for multifamily. And so the first thing we were thinking through was how do we make something within multifamily that is additive to the neighborhood? Because there's a lot of multifamily coming. Obviously we have a need for housing, and every unit that we're able to bring online is incredibly helpful. But from a neighborhood culture standpoint, you know, it's hard to really quantify or see the positive impacts of multifamily projects. Not a lot of them are, incredibly focused on pedestrian levels, street activation, and on, culture and urban fabric. And so
Mm-hmm.
um, that was kind of some of the things we were thinking about as we pivoted away from hotel and into multifamily. And so, that the one thing that really stuck with us as a common thread was the mass timber, because not only did we think that, you know, it was beautiful, but we started learning about the environmental benefits of mass timber when compared to traditional construction methods like concrete and steel. And we started learning about other projects in other markets that were using mass timber and kind
Mm.
of watching those processes. And eventually we were like, this is it. It's we had a few other thoughts as well. We were a small little site. Our site's about a quarter of an acre, and we have some dense zoning, so we can go up to 12 stories. But you know, we always knew it was going to be a small project, and almost all of the buildings in Rhino are big, and they have big beefy amenities. They've got the big pool decks. They've got uh, all of the fancy things. And we knew with the size of our site, we just weren't going to be able to provide everything that these big, massive 400 to 500 unit complexes were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so the key word that we were, latched onto was differentiation. How can we differentiate? We're going to be, around 100 units in this sea of there's currently 3,000 units under construction. How do we stand out? Because if we try and do what these other people are doing, we're not going to win. We're not going to win if we try and compete with drivetrain, or if we try and compete with, some of these just Mill Creek projects or any of the other ones that Carmel Partners are building. They're just a different product. And so, one of the ways that we thought we could stand out was using mass timber, both from an aesthetic differentiation standpoint, because as we can get into later, it's a totally different look. Your unit, you know, it's you have the exposed wood ceilings, you have exposed columns and beams. Your whole living area is, covered in wood, which is
Yeah.
obviously different aesthetically. But then also just the narrative of doing something in the construction industry that is forward thinking, and that you know is hopefully a path forward for the industry that is a little less harmful on the environment. And so, you know, that's kind of the mess of thoughts that we had that created
Mm.
the mass timber motif there.